Well, we have ourselves even more goaltending news to go over, because it was announced by Marty St. Louis just about an hour ago what the future for Montreal Canadiens goaltender Cayden Primeau is going to be. Take a look at this. MSL confirms that Primeau will be placed on waivers tomorrow. And, yeah, the tweet is in French, so I had to read that myself. But the coach also indicates that Yakemchuk will be in net Saturday against the Panthers. Sami Montembeault will face the Lightning on Sunday. And I just gotta say, man, what a way to kick off your NHL career. 5th round draft pick 4 years ago. You work yourselves up into the college university ranks, and then you're standing in the AHL as a rookie. And now, just a few years later, you're playing off against the Florida freaking Panthers, the reigning, defending, undisputed Stanley Cup champions of the world. That is crazy, Marty St. Louis. You are nuts for this. But I guess if the Montreal Canadiens feel like they have a better chance of putting up a stronger performance against Florida and then a weaker one against Tampa Bay, because of course, I mean, Florida one day, Tampa the next, it's kind of hard to do well both times. So they'll go with the weaker, more inexperienced goaltender in the stronger game, and then they'll go with the better, more veteran goaltender in the weaker game. It makes sense. Go Dobas and then Montembeault. If you were to say, okay, we'll play Montembeault against Florida because he gives us a better chance to win while we're playing our strongest, and then throw Dobas to the Wolves on Sunday against Tampa Bay while we're weak and we're trying to recover and we're tired, that feels a little bit off. So obviously this is probably a good way to go about it. But the first thing that St. Louis talks about, Cayden Primeau is going to be placed on waivers tomorrow. The reason it's not today is because the NHL roster freeze is still in effect. At least that's my understanding. A whole bunch of people are talking about this online, like, hey, the roster freeze, you can't go out there and throw a guy on waivers just yet. But for Cayden Primeau, we had already spoken about this earlier today when Dobas got called up, but there is no way Cayden Primeau is really in any sort of goodwill with the Canadiens management right now. He's just too bad. Nothing that he might have done personally. I'm sure he's a good guy and everybody likes him and he's a pretty cool dude. I mean, it seems like people in the Canadiens organization like him as a person. He just kind of sucks. And so for him to get sent down, it's all going to depend, honestly, on how Jakub Dobas plays, because if Dobas is good enough, he's been very good in the AHL. If he's good enough, there's no reason to call Cayden Primeau back up. And if Primeau continues to struggle down there in the American Hockey League, I honestly wouldn't be surprised either. Like, to be entirely honest, the guy doesn't really have much going for him right now. If he gets claimed, then that's an entire other conversation that we're going to need to have. Is he on his way to another NHL team? Will somebody else try to take their own chance at developing Cayden Primeau and giving him more of a role? Maybe if Primeau was playing behind a team that was a lot better defensively, things would be easier. But then again, if I was playing with Connor McDavid, even I could score a goal or two at the NHL level. It all just depends on how you see it. So for Cayden Primeau, this is the unfortunate way that his career is going down. Marty St. Louis just confirmed it an hour ago, but this is not the only piece of goaltender news that I wanted to get into in this video. Now, you can let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section below. How do you feel about Jakub Dobas and Cayden Primeau and the way that everything has been shaping up for the Montreal Canadiens? I think it's pretty clear that Sami Montembeault is the number one, but I wanted to go over to some other commentary for Colorado players, because if you take a look at what was posted earlier this morning, you'll see that the Colorado Avalanche have signed Mackenzie Blackwood to a 5-year extension, and the AAV is $5.25 million a year. I guess the Colorado Avalanche just really like what they have seen out of Blackwood in the very limited sample that he has had as a part of this organization. I mean, take a look at the numbers here. Blackwood has been pretty alright. 4 games played with the Avalanche, a .931 save percentage, and a .203 goals against. That's very strong. He was with the New Jersey Devils for a while. There was some controversy there. There was some poor development there. And then in San Jose, he was a .911 goaltender before getting sent over to Colorado. He has been a very interesting player the past little while. And I think for a lot of Colorado Avalanche fans, it's sort of, I guess, relieving, maybe not entirely because he's only played 4 games, but it is relieving in some capacity to be like, hey, we have a guy that actually is here and who is capable of being a goaltender, right? Maybe that's a really low bar. Incredibly low bar. But it is something that I think many Colorado Avalanche fans have been dying to see in their organization the past little while here. An actually good starting goaltender. How in the world did they win the Stanley Cup all those years ago? Oh, right, because Darcy Kemper kind of went sicko mode in that run. At the very least, I guess the Colorado Avalanche already have themselves their chip. But either way, it's interesting to take a look at this extension considering the lack of real experience Mackenzie Blackwood has had in this organization. I mean, he's only played 4 games, and now he's getting $25+ million. At the end of the day, though, he has been pretty good, so if you wanted to say that he deserves it, then you can go out there and say that. A lot of people are saying that the San Jose Sharks won the trade or something like that because of this extension, and honestly, I'm not really too sure about that. I feel like the Avalanche just had themselves a particular need, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that need does not ever become a need anymore. I mean, it makes sense, but still, that's a lot of money to commit to a guy right away. And ultimately, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below too. Does this seem like an overpay? There are a lot of people talking about this as if it was an overpay in the replies on Twitter and everywhere else. So I do kind of question that perspective, mostly because I think if you're really on the belief that Mackenzie Blackwood just isn't that good and that he and his overall profile was more of a fluke the past little while here, how his ending days in New Jersey where he was a sub-900 goaltender, how that is more of what he is. If you're of that belief, then okay, I can understand why you're thinking this is a pretty bad deal. But I want to believe in guys who have rediscovered themselves towards the latter parts of their careers. And I say latter parts, not like Mackenzie Blackwood is too old. He's only 28 years old, after all. But this still is a guy who found himself a new role, and who found himself new capabilities as well. Sometimes for goalies it takes a while, and we've always known this, right? We always recognized that goaltenders will come into their own and hit their primes usually a bit sooner. Sometimes you have guys that are really hot out of the gate in their early 20s and maybe around that, but still, most goalies become good later on, and I guess for Mackenzie Blackwood, you can say that that is sort of the case. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Does Cayden Primeau have what it takes to do that exact same thing, either with Montreal or with some other team that claims him? Do you think that his time in Montreal is ultimately done? Is this the end of Cayden Primeau? Assuming he's not great in the AHL's Laval Rocket, I don't really think he's got a chance to come back, but still, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Cayden Primeau getting sent down, as well as the Mackenzie Blackwood extension by the Colorado Avalanche. Comment section is your floor. I hope you enjoyed this Recherche Roll 99, and bye.